Vaccine mandates have been introduced by some European countries and also some sectors, including health in the US. So let's speak now to Dr. Uzma Syed, infectious diseases specialist based in New York. Dr. Syed, thank you very much for being with us. Are restrictions and lockdowns on the unvaccinated in particular the way forward?
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is quite a controversial topic here. And unfortunately, we've all been through lockdowns throughout this pandemic, and we've seen that far too often. And unfortunately, it's not really something that we want to be doing. And we would hope that, just building confidence in vaccines and promoting science and really fighting and combating the misinformation and the disinformation that's being spread out there is really the way to people's hearts for people to see that vaccination is really the way out of this pandemic.
You mentioned building confidence in vaccines. Some people still would rather not take their inoculations. What reasons do these people give?
There is just so much misinformation and disinformation, unfortunately, that's out there that is very, very dangerous. And a majority of this has been spread through social media. Much of it is just, being run rampant throughout this course of this pandemic, especially since vaccines were first made available, and a lot of different reasons. Some people have hesitancy because of concerns and fears of the unknown. However, now we have so much access to accurate information, but people keep sharing the myths and the disinformation that's out there, where people are talking about fertility issues, which are just not true. And people are talking about alteration of DNA and all kinds of myths that, unfortunately, it's just propaganda that's now being spread even more so because of ultimately the polarization in this pandemic.
Vaccines have been around for about a year now. Cases, as we discussed, are still rising. Is it unfair to just target the unvaccinated? Are we looking at putting entire countries and regions and cities back into lockdowns again?
Well, we certainly don't want to go there again, but we have to really look at it in a case-by-case basis and a specific time, because we see very, very commonly with this pandemic that cases will rise, and we have to really use all of our mitigation strategies in addition to vaccinations. And then when levels of the virus come down in our community, we can sort of relax those a little bit. Now, vaccinations are going strong throughout a good part of the country, a good part of the world, especially in Europe. However, we have to remember that there's a significant amount of population that is still not vaccinated, including the pediatric population, which could really be accounting for the rise in cases. Not to mention that, the level that we need to reach herd immunity shifts every time we have a new variant that emerges that is more and more transmissible.
OK, Dr. Uzma Syed, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure.